Welcome back to another week of our European Power Rankings. This is when we take the top 10 players from around the world and put them in a list for you every week. But if you're new around here, this is how it works. Each player will be judged on his past 5 games, meaning that if he had a worldie at the weekend but didn't play well in his previous 4, he probably won't be there. Equally, if he had a stinker at the weekend but played very well in his previous 4, he just might make the grade. So as ever, let's kick off with this week's winners and losers. First of all, to our winner of the week, and who else but Cristiano Ronaldo. The 34-year-old took it upon himself to score a hat-trick in Turin and dump Atletico Madrid out of the tie. Atletico had been favourites after getting a 2-0 head start in the first leg, but nobody told Cristiano Ronaldo, who banged in a hat-trick and sent his team sailing on through to the quarter-finals. What a legend. And for the week's biggest losers, the entire Schalke team. Yes, it's only supposed to be one player, but how do you single just one person out when the entire team loses 7-0 in the Champions League? It's been a terrible season for Tedesco's boys, but this was a particular low point. So now let's get started with our European Power Rankings, but before we reveal this week's top 10, let's have a quick look back at last week's list. Down the bottom, we had 2 players who faced off against one another in the Champions League this week. Robert Lewandowski of Bayern Munich and Joel Matip from Liverpool. His defensive partner, Virgil van Dijk, was in at 7, as Hakim Ziyech just missed out on a top 5 spot. Big Romelu Lukaku was in at top spot after a dazzling display against PSG in the Champions League, while Dusan Tadic was our runner-up after his demolition job against Real Madrid. So with that over, let's take a look at this week's list. In at number 10, and it's that man again, Robert Lewandowski. The big Pole may not have scored against Liverpool in the Champions League, but 4 goals in 2 games against Wolfsburg and Gladbach in the Bundesliga means he just about keeps his spot in our top 10. In at number 9, Bernardo Silva, who got a goal and assist against Schalke in Manchester City's 7-0 drubbing of the Bundesliga side. It's never easy to stick out in a team like Manchester City, which is filled with superstars, but Silva is one of Pep Guardiola's absolute favourites, and it's not hard to see why. In at number 8, and Romelu Lukaku has dropped 7 places this week, despite banging in 6 goals in his previous 5 games, including 2 goals in 3 consecutive Premier League games. It appears a poor performance against Arsenal, in which he was fairly wasteful in the Premier League, was his downfall this week. Seems a little harsh to me because I think the Belgian is a phenomenal striker and he's been in great form lately. In at number 7, Kylian Mbappe. The French wonder kid scored and got an assist against Dijon in the French league in his last game, and his preceding 4 banged in 5 and got an assist. Still just 20 years old, it seems there's nothing this boy can't do. In at number 6, Sadio Mane. The Senegalese winger scored 2 goals, which sent Bayern Munich packing in the Champions League, and before that banged in 2 against Burnley in the Premier League as well. He's been in top form lately and deserves his spot in our list. Into the top 5 now, and Luis Suarez makes the cut. He's got 3 goals and an assist in his previous 5 games. Now that may not sound like quite as many as some of the other players further down our list, but he did put in a man of the match display against fierce rivals Real Madrid in El Clasico, and that seems to have tipped the tie in his favour. In at number 4, we have Virgil van Dijk. The big Dutchman put in an imperious display against Bayern Munich to send them crashing out of the Champions League with a goal and an assist. The game before that, against Everton, fierce local rivals, he kept a clean sheet. And before that, 2 goals against Watford. Now this is from a defender, so it's safe to say Virgil van Dijk has had a pretty incredible last few weeks. Into the top 3 now, and last week's runner-up, Dusan Tadic, stays in the top 3. Thanks to 3 man of the match displays in a row, as well as 4 goals and 3 assists in his past 5 games. It seems he's still flying after that demolition job against Real Madrid. And this week's runner-up is Raheem Sterling. The England man scored a goal and got an assist in the 7-0 trouncing of Schalke. Before that, he hit a hat-trick against Watford in the Premier League, and before that he scored the winning goal against Schalke in the first leg too. He gets a lot of flack from fans, but there's no doubting on his day Raheem Sterling is a world-class player. And the moment we've all been waiting for, in at number 1, who else but Lionel Messi. Messi's got 2 goals and 2 assists against Lyon in the Champions League to send them crashing out and his team sailing through to the quarterfinals. It could be their year, and before that he banged in a hat-trick against Sevilla in La Liga. The man is a genius. So there we have it, our European power rankings, the top 10 players based on form. Who have we missed out? Let us know. Has there been a player in top form this week that we haven't spotted? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.